Yeah, but sorry, so I'm gonna do that accent. Today we're gonna react to Sonic Prime character Weak, Too Powerful. We've reacted to the past songs by Wicked Bin, so let's continue.
Whether it be the criminally underrated Sonic Underground, or newer shows like Sonic X and Sonic Boom.
I'm pretty sure Sonic X was 203 and Sonic Boom was 2. So I'm pretty sure not recent, but in terms of times for some reason. Yes.
In addition to being a video game icon, Sonic has been a television staple for decades, and this is exemplified with Netflix's latest cartoon, Sonic Prime, a new story in the Sonic canon.
That's what you get for messing with my friends, Egghead.
As always,
Good.
Sonic brings plenty of characters to dissect, and with new powers under his belt and some interesting tech, we wonder who's the strongest. I'm Kyle with Wicked Binge, and this is Sonic Prime's.
Okay, Sonic's probably can be above the powerful because he has beaten everyone.
Season 1 characters, weak to powerful.
Yeah, these are season 1 distributor.
So a couple caveats before we start. This show deals with the multiverse and has plenty of unique characters because of it, so we'll only be talking about named characters. Secondly, we'll only be talking about information from Sonic Prime, so no games, no comics, and no other shows. And
Okay.
finally, spoiler warning for Season 1.
Yeah, spoiler season, like I've said every single one, and if you've not seen it, some reason, it's been out like, so it was 15, 13 days. If you somehow have not seen that, spoilers.
All that out of the way, we can speed on to the real list, starting with the weakest character and working our way up to the most powerful. Starting out our list is a group, specifically the Scavengers from the Primal Universe. This group, consisting of Prim, Gnarly, Hangry, and Mangy, variants of Rouge, Knuckles, Big the Cat, and Tails respectively. This group lives in the Canopy, a village that spans across the many trees of Green Hill. However, due to being seen as more ancient versions of the characters, they are by far the weakest. They use archaic ancient weapons.
Yeah, that is kind of true, and I would say the only one who wouldn't be would be Fawn, who is later.
Like stone spears and slingshots that aren't very useful
Probably.
against Sonic, or even threats of the time like Birdie and Thorn. They don't know how to spin dash and seem to be working with only natural abilities and premature weapons. Ranking next is Dr. Dunnett from the New York City universe.
Yeah, the old thing.
Dr. Dunnett is a version of Dr. Eggman from New York City, and seems to be an elder version of the Good Doctor. This means he mostly falls into the tropes of an old man, as he is constantly getting things wrong and falling asleep in the middle of everything. The reason he ranks above the Scavengers is simply because of his intelligence. He is capable of building robots and mecha suits, although we never see the extent of these abilities. Now, we don't know enough about him to rank him any higher, simply because we see him do very little. In a similar vein, Dr. Don't ranks next. Like Dunnett,
Oh, I know the exact reason. He just lays down and does nothing.
Don't is a version of Dr. Eggman in New York City, and another member of the Chaos Council. He seems to be a teenage version of Dr. Eggman, and as such, spends most of his time focusing on a video game of some kind.
Well, it does. What?
Don't does rank higher than Dunnett because while we don't see any of his specific robots, we do see that he is the most prominent tech guy on the crew. He is responsible for the firewall and the controls of Rusty Rose that even Nine seems to have trouble getting through. Don't seems very smart, but because he doesn't seem to be a fighter, we can't rank him any higher. Another member of the Chaos Council landing on our list is Dr. Babel. Babel, like the other members of the Chaos Council, is a version of Dr. Eggman in New York City, specifically being a baby. Babel is shown to be intensely smart, capable of building and operating a powerful egg robot that is able to catch and knock around Sonic. His egg robot has multiple unique forms that are capable of catching and decimating Sonic, such as a laser gun, or giant rattle. However, Babel seems to have the most rudimentary badniks on his side, as all the robots in his sector seem to be smaller and slower than the rest. He also falls short because of the fact that because he is a baby, he is prone to throwing tantrums randomly, especially while losing to Sonic. Sure, Babel seems highly malicious, but he is unable to truly act upon his desires due to his young age. Still in New York City for the moment, next we have Rebel Rouge. Rebel is the New York City version of Rouge the Bat.
Yeah, Rebel isn't that powerful.
Where she leads the resistance against the Chaos Council. She's shown to be relatively smart, capable of determining that Sonic could be helpful to their cause, despite being an unknown entity. She also shows off a multitude of skills in her time on screen, where she's shown capable of destroying robots with a single kick, and is capable of handling even stronger robots with relative ease. Her ability to fly with her wings and sleep upside down without trouble cause her to be a mobile warrior that is hard to catch. She is even shown to be relatively skilled in
Then why isn't the least powerful of those? Please can you tell me?
firearms created by the Chaos Council, and is only caught when absolutely overwhelmed by the sheer amount of robots that are sent after her. Ranking just slightly
Oh, that's why.
above his boss is Renegade Nux. Nux is the second in command of the Resistance and the New York City version of Knuckles the Echidna. He is shown to be a powerhouse when it comes to physical attacks, as his punches are capable of destroying the more powerful Egg Forcers in a
It's gonna be let me guess, the same as it. He gets overwhelmed with too many.
singular blow. He seems to be smarter than his normal counterpart,
Yeah.
as he constantly seems to be on the lookout for traps, despite the fact that they don't seem to happen often. He's shown to be capable of gliding short distances after a running start, and one could argue that with a bigger start, he could fly even further. What really sets him above
Yeah, apparently Knuckles had it, but we don't know about that.
Rebel is his very quick mastery of the spin dash after being taught only once, which he used to take out multiple enemies at once. It's even shown that when angered, he grows even more powerful, capable of destroying the robots that had ambushed them despite falling short prior. Nux earns this spot because he is capable of some of the best feats we see in the show, even though it's not enough. Moving on to Dr. Eggman
Yeah.
from the Prime Universe. Eggman is Sonic's main rival, a notoriously smart supervillain that wants to rid the world of Sonic in the name of progress. Eggman is one of the smartest people in the Sonic universe, and this is shown through the use of his
Used to.
badniks and many egg-based mech suits. He is capable of building machines that can keep up with Sonic for the most part, even if they're relatively easy to destroy. Eggman is also the one who takes the Paradox Prism, and if it wasn't for Sonic, could probably use it to rewrite all of history. Eggman actually doesn't have a lot of screen time, but
Yeah, but he kind of got stopped.
his high intelligence allows him to skate pretty far on our list. Next is Miles Tails Prower. Tails is the sidekick to Sonic and a good friend to the rest of the cast because of this. He is actually quite young, hovering somewhere around the age of 10, but despite this, he has a genius level intellect and is capable of amazing things.
But
He
not
created the Tornado, a plane
Oh,
capable
good was it? Not like Baby.
of keeping up with Sonic and seems to be a master pilot. Tails' unique biology allows him to spin his two tails in tandem to allow himself to fly at relatively high speeds. His intelligence is enough to notice Eggman's trick before it's been executed, and he's even one of the few capable of deducing Eggman's plans. Tails is still young, which means he has a lot of growing up to do, but if he's this smart already, who knows what his upper limits are. Jumping into another
Yeah.
universe, we rank Knuckles the Dread and his crew together.
Yeah, they're not that powerful.
Knuckles the Dread, as his name implies, is a pirate captain and an alternate version of Knuckles, where he leads a ragtag group of pirates consisting of Baton Rouge, Sails the Fox, Catfish, and Black Rose, who
Yeah.
are mostly leisurely pirates who don't fight all too much. However, this is due to Knuckles' orders, as he's shown to absolutely hate fighting and refuses to do it unless absolutely necessary. This leads to Knuckles being sort of cowardly, but once he gets past that, he is a surprisingly strong pirate captain who is capable of leading his crew to victory without much trouble.
Come on, you cowards! She's all clear!
In fact, the crew are surprisingly skilled swordsmen, capable of beating other pirates in a flash. And Baton shows surprising accuracy with the cannon when it comes down to it. They're even capable of handling Rusty Rose for the most part, despite her enhanced skills. The crew aren't particularly strong, but altogether they can handle most threats sent to them. Jumping back to New York City, we have
Yeah.
Of Dr. Deep. Dr. Deep is another member of the Chaos Council and seems to be a young adult version of Eggman. He seems to be just as smart as the other Eggmen, but his mechanical genius is used for more stripped down versions of the Egg Mechs made by the others. He uses a mechanical ectoskeleton as his main source of fighting ability. This ectoskeleton gives him enhanced speed, strength, and durability, and also has a multitude of powerful tools at its disposal. Its main
Like a semi. Sorry.
of attack are two flaming buzzsaws that are shown to be hot enough to melt walls, which means it's running at over 2000 degrees Fahrenheit. Deep, however, prefers to utilize his own body and weaponry while in this suit, and he was capable of catching a falling Sonic in midair with just his hands. He's also shown to be quite skilled with the two swords he keeps in his mech suit and uses them in tandem with his flying abilities to cause all sorts of damage. Deep is by far the most physically threatening Eggman. However, he is still not the strongest. But first we need to head back to the jungle and talk about Thorn Rose. Thorn is the jungle universe equivalent of Amy. However, unlike Amy, she is much less caring. She's capable of taming giant jungle birds, and even before her power-up was capable of launching people as large and heavy as Hangry hundreds of feet into the air. She is shown to be quite skilled with a hammer and is even shown to be quite fast and stealthy. She even managed to catch Sonic of all people off guard, showing that she can handle herself quite well. However, what really sets her above the rest is the Paradox Prism Shard she finds with Sonic's help.
Let's see what this hammer can do!
Upon utilizing this shard, she can now summon plant life with a single hit of her hammer, and this goes as far as growing hundreds of feet into the air. It even allows her to extend the length of her hammer up to dozens of feet longer than before, and she uses this to her advantage. Thorn is smart, stealthy, and strong, but due to her primal nature and most of her power coming from the shard, we can't rank her any higher. The final version of Amy on our list ranks next, none other than Rusty Rose. Rusty is a partly roboticized version of Amy from New York City. She was programmed by the Chaos Council to be an insurmountable threat and the head of security. Because of this, not only is most of her body made out of metal that is hard to damage, but she also has a multitude of mechanical enhancements. The main one we see are her extending limbs, which can cause her to move long distances or harm enemies from afar utilizing her arms. She's shown breaking other robots with a single punch, and can even deal pretty easily with crowds. Not to mention that her arms also have claws that are shown to be surprisingly sharp. Our final Eggman, Mr. Dr. Eggman, is next. Mr. Doctor is the main version of Eggman in New York City, where he
Where's 9? Please tell me.
heads the Chaos Council. While it's unknown exactly how he was able to, it is implied he is the one who managed to collect the other members of the council. He is still a super genius and one of the smartest people to ever live, where he can handle an entire city with the help of his council, and he rules with an iron fist. He is assumed to be the one behind the majority of Egg Forcers and other robots that populate the city, and most of them are capable of handling the likes of Rebel and Nux. It's also implied that he had a hand in, if not was the one behind Rusty's programming, meaning he can very easily program any roboticized
Why does that have to be Amy? It could have been Knuckles for or like a...
Listen, he can even be physically imposing as he's the one with the largest and probably strongest mech suit out of the council. This model was capable of slapping Sonic in midair, holding open thick steel doors that are trying to close, and even shooting Nine's plane down. Mr. Doctor definitely deserves to be praised for his strength, but unfortunately for him, he doesn't even make the top 3. Speaking of, taking the bronze medal of strength is Nine. Nine is the New York City version of Tails, where he was born and didn't have any friends to help when he was bullied. He grew up hardened by the city and absolutely hates that he was bullied for his extra tail. However, despite this, he is still a mechanical genius, and might be the smartest person in New York City. He created 7 extra mechanical tails that he uses in a multitude of ways. From mechanical spider legs he can use to climb along walls and ceilings to hacking tools. However, their most powerful feature is as a battle object, as they alone are capable of dismembering and destroying Egg Forcers without Nine even needing to look
And he also made you fly.
up from his computer. Nine's genius gets to the point that once he gets his hands on the Paradox Crystal Shard, he is capable of creating a plane that can traverse the so-called Shatterverse, and even open portals while in it. Taking the Silver Medal of Power is none other than Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow is Sonic's rival and a hedgehog-like
And let's see who the first one. I'm gonna say Sonic.
him, supposedly fighting with Sonic on multiple occasions. Shadow uses a pair of air shoes that allow Shadow to float on air and catch up to Sonic in most cases. He utilizes this speed to catch Sonic off guard on occasion, and when the two fight, it seems like Shadow may have the upper hand at times. He is strong enough to break apart large rocks by running through them, and even larger boulders by punching them. In fact, he can combine his speed and strength to form tornadoes by running fast enough, which are capable of
Is it gonna be the rest of Sonic's friends, or it's gonna be just Sonic?
countering Sonic's. What sets him above the rest, besides being so close to Sonic in speed and strength, is his ability to use the Chaos Emeralds. He can utilize an ability called Chaos Control, which can be used in a multitude of
To teleport.
ways, including the ability to teleport or subtly slow down time. And finally, our gold medal of power easily goes to Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic is the
Guessed it.
protagonist, and we see more than enough of his skills to rank him so high. Sonic's main draw is his insane speed, where it's implied to be faster than the speed of sound, as we assumedly hear a sonic boom in the first episode. His upper limits are unknown, but we do know that when angry at his friends being harmed, he gets even stronger and faster. In fact, he's fast enough to create tornadoes, blast out massive EMP blasts that knock out the city's power, or at one point even travel the Shatterverse without Nine's help. Sonic is also shown to be quite clever, as he's capable of tricking and destroying most of Eggman's stuff, and even tricking Dr. Babel. He even utilizes the Spin Dash, a powerful move that is capable of destroying armies of robots at one time, and can even teach it to others if he wants. Now, we could talk up his speed all day, such as him dodging seemingly extremely
Yeah. Seemingly big lasers.
fast lasers, or moving so fast the world is slowed down. But we really need to talk about his gear. After Nine creates the innovators that allow his shoes and gloves to attune to his energy, they start to change with each world he enters, giving him new abilities. These include claws that can be used for climbing, or fighting as seen in the jungle world, or the ability to hover and float in the pirate world. While we don't know what Sonic's upper limits are, we do know that he is by far the strongest character introduced yet. But with more
Yeah.
seasons to go, who knows? But let us know in the comments
Yeah, but he's the main character, so.
section who you think the strongest Sonic Prime character is. And be sure to hit that notification.
Okay, credit to. Okay, babe. I wonder what I'm gonna do it for. See what? Because I cannot reach. Well, I've already got that game. I'll do Sonic Frontiers first. Let's just go.